Hey, what's up, guys? We're gonna be talking about a few little things with you guys real quick. We took a little survey like a week ago or something about malrotation. We want to talk about that. We feel like not a lot of people know what that was. It surprised me. Obviously, in our journey, we've mentioned a lot of things, and sometimes since we know the story so well of what happened with Nathan, we think that automatically everybody knows.
Yeah, and we kind of forget that there are new people.
Yeah, and that maybe even the old people maybe they didn't catch it
yeah.
or something, So I feel like it's very important because since we're on TikTok now, a lot of people are coming in with different questions, want to know what's going on. And then there's some people that don't understand why Nathan's always coughing up and he's having reflux. And they obviously they lovingly give advice, like anti-acid medications,
which he's
sit him up, don't sit him on, or put him on his side, don't sit him up. So we have vice versa, sit him up, or no, don't sit him up, put him on his side. So there's a lot of, obviously it's gonna be a lot of genuine love and care and a lot of concern. But that's why we wanted to talk about the malrotation, because some people ask us how come Nathan hasn't had a procedure done to stop the reflux, which is a fundoplication and another one that I'm not familiar with the name right now. And so me and Pam thought it would be a good idea to talk about why or what happened with him in his stomach and why it's so different and why he continues to spit up. So, when Nathan was born, he did have a spitting up only like.
The spitting up didn't really start to be like an issue until he was about, I would say, maybe close to a month old. Because remember, they were like, oh, he's not in the NICU still. And they were like, oh, he spit up, and like he was spitting up a little bit more, but it wasn't like very frequent. Like it was probably like, I don't know, like once a day or once every other day.
It wasn't out of the norm.
Yeah.
Some babies would do that.
It was just to them, it was just kind of like a regular baby spit up.
Yeah.
And it always happened, of course, like after he ate. So they just figured maybe like because this is at the time where he was bottle feeding and I was breastfeeding him. So they just thought maybe he had ate too fast from either the bottle or off myself. So we're just like, okay, like it's just total, it's fine. But then they did end up putting him on a medication. What was it called?
I don't remember, honey.
Oh, it started with the R. I don't remember.
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah, but they put him on a med, and he was on that, and it seemed to help him. Like they weren't as bad. But then it wasn't until we went to Valley Children's where everything just kind of got worse. And
but you have to keep in mind that Nathan was supposed to reach a certain weight, and with him not eating correctly and him vomiting, he was not meeting the weight required.
Yeah.
During our time here in Bakersfield, where he was born, in the NICU here, they recommended him to be a certain weight and maintain that weight for him to come home, which that was the main goal for us.
Yeah.
So when we were told he had to go after his seizures, he was having seizures. We were told that we were supposed to go to Valley Children's eventually for a G tube if he met a certain weight.
Yeah, but
because of the seizures.
Because of the seizures, yeah, he was transferred to Valley Children's Hospital in Madera.
Yes.
But he was supposed to be discharged to come home, like a week before Christmas or the week of Christmas, because he was feeding very good with the bottle and he was maintaining everything and he met the weight requirements to come home. But then the seizures started happening and they were like, well, no, you can't go home. He has to be transferred because they couldn't figure out like
what was going on
and why the seizures were happening. So then fast forward, we're in Valley Children's, and the spitting up is becoming a little bit more constant. It's not just when after he's done feeding.
The coughing was going on.
It was the coughing, yeah, the coughing, and then a little bit of the spitting up, and then it just kind of progressed into something more, and then he wasn't holding down any food like as soon as he would eat.
And before it wasn't because he wasn't eating by mouth, because that was an issue for him.
Yeah.
He wasn't latching to anything, and so he was NG tube, NG tube,
Yeah,
NG tube fed through his nose, and so that is why they were making sure that he was getting it for sure, but he was not keeping it. He was vomiting it out. So during this time, all the tests are being run to find out what's going on with his diagnosis, to find a diagnosis. But during the operation, or before the surgery. Sorry, before the surgery, we talked to the surgeon, and he was basically giving us a rundown on what he was looking at. But he said,
and the surgery was more just to have the G tube placed. Remember?
Yes.
It was just for the G tube placed, and then he was like, the surgeon came to us, and he was like, since he's in such a complicated kind of a state, I just want to he wanted to run some tests to make sure that his intestines and everything was fine in order, and that way he kind of
didn't
knew.
Didn't he see a hernia too? That's why.
Yeah, the hernias too. And so he kind of did like a little test where he put like an ink substance. They put it in through the NG, and they did x-rays to kind of like see how everything went. And that's when he was like, okay, like now there's something else. That's when he mentioned the malrotation, and I was like, oh, what? Like
Yeah, we had never heard of malrotation before.
Didn't even know this was even like possible.
Now, if you guys want to look and read, we encourage you guys to read more on malrotation, because we are not experts on it.
No.
However, from what we understand is a malrotation is a spectrum. There's different types. Some are severe. Just because the stomach is just not his intestines are not normal, or they didn't twist a certain way. Whenever someone has something, whether it's slightly or a lot, it's considered a malrotation. So, if you guys want to look information on that, please do so. But from what we understood is that Nathan, when he was supposed to, his stomach was forming, and all of our intestines are supposed to twist into place.
Yeah.
And his never did. So they stayed a certain way. And the dangers of that, from what I understand, is that there could be blockage. When there's blockage, it could be very lethal, and there's some cases where people have died from that, and so our surgeon let us know of all the dangers of everything that comes with a malrotation, and what procedure he was going to do to fix what's going on, which is called a LAD procedure, and that is what Nathan has. Due to that being done, obviously there was a problem already prior to this surgery. However, this prevented him from any blockage going in his stomach, so it's to protect him. But the symptoms of vomiting and all that felt like it increased after that.
Yeah, and I think maybe because, just from my guess and my perspective, that the reason why it maybe increased more was because his stomach was turned around, so it wasn't really allowing like things to like maybe fully digest. Like, never mind, just forget it. I mean, it sounded better in my head when I was thinking about it, but just forget it.
From what we understood is that Nathan couldn't have any food in his stomach whatsoever. His stomach rejected anything. And after he had the G tube placed, he would eat, but he would vomit all of it out. So then we tried different types of feedings, of course, which here comes the first suggestion that many tell us. Try a heavier formula, like a rice formula, like a heavier, more thicker, so it could stay down instead of it coming up, instead of like a normal formula where it's light. And there's different types of we are fully aware that there's reflux formula specifically made. We tried that, and that was a instant mistake. Um, I felt bad for it because I'm the one who was like suggesting that, because I had read during our hospital stay. I brought it up because I was doing my research, and they were like, "Yeah, there is that. We would try it out. We'll go ahead and do that, right, Pam?"
Mm-hmm.
And I instantly regret it because when he spit it all up, he spit it out so thick through his nose, and he was struggling to he was choking a lot more because of how heavy the formula was. So I felt really bad, and so I was like, I tried to get the doctor out. I was like, hey, you know what? I changed my mind.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's not gonna work out. And they're like, no, yeah, we just want to make sure that you know that we're listening to you. And I was like, okay. So we tried bolus filling. There's so many things that we tried, and honestly, I was against the ropes whenever they mentioned. Eventually, later on, they mentioned he had to have a GJ tube, so for him to be fed in the jejunum, which is another suggestion. People tell us, have you guys ever heard of GJ tubes? Well, he is on a GJ tube. So he is getting fed through the jejunum because, again, he can't have any food touching his stomach. I was a little bit more because I just didn't want Nathan to go through more procedures, and I was very tired of seeing him go through so much. And at this point, we're already kind of in the last stages of our stay, I think, right before when they did the GJ, because he was already in the other room. He was in the hallway room.
Yeah.
What is about a month before we left?
No,
weeks?
after he had that surgery,
2 weeks.
no, 2 days later we were moved down to go home.
Yeah, but then I still had. Oh, so it was just about a week then, tops.
Not even. It was in that same week.
So when did I come home then?
The week before.
Before he had it? Oh, because I was here
'Cause you
already
left
and you
me,
called me.
yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Sorry, my time. See? Anyways, that's what happened. So, guys, we want to talk about malrotation because that's what happened with Nathan, and that's the reason why he couldn't have a fundoplication surgery.
And the surgeon didn't recommend doing the fundoplication.
Yes.
He didn't think it would be a good idea to do with Nathan, and also he told us that they don't do those procedures anymore unless it's a last resort and they really, really have to. And he honestly didn't see it necessary to do it at the time, basically.
Yeah. And we're going to talk to him again just to make sure, because, again, there's so much information that comes our way, and then some we retain it and some we just, we think we know, and then we just, what did he say again? Anyways, he basically told us that either he gets the fundoplication, but with the fundoplication, there's other things that come about with Nathan, because Nathan, his insides are different. So what are we gonna jeopardize then?
Yeah.
So it's like a balance.
Yeah.
So.
And with the fundoplication, you can't vomit or anything can't come up at all, because then it'll rupture the stomach, right, or something like that. It'll kind of just undo what was undone. And in his case, he can't help it but to
Yes.
spit up.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't really be a good thing for him to go through.
In some cases, that
cases.
happens. That's why we just I don't know. In a way, it's kind of what do we take a chance and see and make this worse, or do we because honestly, guys, yes, he vomits and he coughs up and he does all that, but it's not as bad as it used to be when he was little and he didn't have the lad procedure. It was just a lot, and so he is on antacids. He is propped up whenever he needs to be propped up. However,
he
guys,
is moved and
he's not just always.
he's
not always in this position. We change him, we move him around, and the thing is, the reason why we lay him on his side, not to disrespect anybody, we appreciate you guys. Again, we don't want to make it sound like stop suggesting stuff or stop telling us what to do.
Or we're saying ungrateful that you're trying to help.
No, it's not like that.
No.
It's just we're trying to get you guys to understand that we always try to do what's best for Nathan, and we listen to a lot of different nurses, and we have nurses that come here every day, and you know, they not every day, but
Monday and
Monday,
Wednesday.
yeah, every week is what I meant. They come here every week, and we talk, and they give us advice whenever we're on in the ropes against something we're not really sure. They call their doctor. We talk to the docters. We talk to them, and they agree with everything that we've done.
Yeah.
We do
I
our
think
best.
if there was something that we were doing wrong and not purposely, I feel like the nurses would be like, hey, you know, like maybe you know do this, and we'll be like, okay, like yeah.
And we're really open to listen to other
like, we're
people's
not
suggestions.
against
No.
anything, but
So with Nathan, sitting him up and stuff, we do have him sitting up whenever he's vomiting. I've explained this in a TikTok, I believe. The reason why I don't have him up sitting like that all the time is because sometimes, since he has no head control whatsoever, and I'm cleaning him and he falls, I could stab him with the suctioning machine, the tip, and it's harder for me to suction and aid him because when he also has this thing where if you touch him anywhere above like this area here, if you touch him at all, he tightens up his hands. He goes in like that and he drops his head. So it's impossible for me to clean him up or Pam to clean him up when he's upright or when he's sitting upright, when he tightens up and he hurtles in and he has things coming out of his mouth. So that is why
makes it a little easier when he's
laying him down on his side is when he coughs, it comes out through the side and it's easier for us to maneuver.
Yeah, and then we can just suction, put the. It's easier. You can just put it on the side of his cheek, and it would just versus.
It just works for us,
Yeah.
and then you know he's more comfortable.
Because there have been times where I've been holding him, or you've been holding him, and he starts coughing, and I'm like, oh, it's hard for me to reach the suction, and then like I can't really see what where I'm pointing it, and I don't want to hurt him.
Because we're busy trying to keep him
steady, trying to keep him from not moving. Yeah.
So yeah, it's more complicated when we do that.
Yeah.
So we hope that clarifies a few things. But yeah. That's the story on that, on malrotations. I'm surprised with a lot of people that have had malrotations. Some of our followers have had malrotations in the past when they were babies and even when they're older, and how much suffering that brings. So I was really surprised to read all that.
Hey guys, so our battery died. We do apologize for that, but thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.